Hello, what's up, beautiful people?
Hey everybody.
Again, we just want to thank all of you lovely people for subscribing and for liking our videos. We couldn't be more blown away by just the engagement and just people watching.
And we have a little bit of an announcement. We just last week hit 1K subscribers, and honestly, wow.
Honestly,
Thank
wow.
you.
Honestly, wow. Like we
don't deserve it.
We do not deserve it. Honestly, it's been kind of therapeutic for us at times just to be able to talk through our life experiences with you all. So we just want to thank you for subscribing and watching our stuff. It's really been nice. Today, well, it's nighttime actually while we're filming this, but I wanted to open up a little bit and share more about the season that I'm in, and Ransom is here as support. I mean, I'm sure he'll chime in at some point, but I just kind of wanted to take a few moments and just open up and share, talk about some of the things that I've been facing this past year. Previously, not too long ago, I did a video focused on the waiting season and season of rejection, and I didn't go in too much detail about the waiting season that I'm currently in. So I've felt so strongly this urge and this nudge to share, which is somewhat difficult because, you know, when you're going through something, you don't always want to open up and talk about it. But I do feel, for some reason, just this nudge on my heart to share this journey with you all. So about a year ago, September of 2022, I, was in the thick of traveling and working and doing my kind of regular thing and not really focused on, I hadn't even really talked about it with Ransom, maybe in passing, maybe in joking, I would bring it up, but never really was considering starting a family and becoming a mom, especially just because we met in 2020, we got married in 2022, so it just really never even crossed my mind that much. But in September of 2022, I had this almost like God desire placed in my heart. I truly feel that is what it was, because I was laying down one day here at home and I, out of nowhere, felt this impression or thought of motherhood and becoming a mom. And we had talked about in passing, child names, baby names, and at the time we were really convinced on this one name that means light. It literally means light. And I felt this impression, Isaiah 61. And if you read Isaiah 61, it says, "Arise and shine, for your light has come and the glory of the Lord shines upon you." And that was just a random scripture verse that I felt in my spirit. I read it, and at first when I read it, I was kind of like, oh, great, what does that mean? It's nothing that special. But then when I read it again and it said, "Arise and shine, for your light has come and the glory of the Lord shines upon you," I was like, oh my gosh, like we've been joking about this and talking about how much we love this name and it means light. And for some reason, I just felt this in my heart that I'm ready. I'm ready to become a mom. I'm ready to start a family with Ransom. And it was confirmation with different conversations I was having and different scriptures that I was reading, that God was like, yes, like I'm preparing you to be a mom. Like I'm shifting the desires of your heart to become a mom. First, it was just like a little bit like, I don't know, Lord, like I'm good. Like I can just keep on working, focusing on my career and, just doing that. I'm good. Like I'm at a stage in life where I feel like I'm going to places where I've always dreamt of going, traveling to places, choreographing for people that I've always wanted to. So it's like I'm good. But then I really started to feel like, no, actually my heart is ready to take a step away from that a little bit and pivot and focus on building a family. And so all that to say, I was really excited about this, and then probably 6 months later, because let's be real, like I think I shared it with you. I don't remember if I shared this with you right in September of 22. I may have. But Ransom was kind of like, oh, whatever, maybe not fully ready, but wasn't like completely against it. But I think that he was just kind of like maybe keeping all of that in of him not really being ready, and just didn't want to take anything away from my excitement.
Well, I think you brought it to me, but I don't think that I really knew. I think you were probably somewhat shy too in bringing it to me, so I didn't really know necessarily the seriousness by which the feeling was inside of you. And obviously, I mean, what I was gonna say is we've always talked about kids, and ever since we started dating, we've always talked about, you know, that plan and idea of having a family someday. So it's not like it's something that we haven't really talked about a lot. We definitely have. I guess, when you brought it up and we were married, it was like, okay, well, I guess I didn't know the extent to the seriousness. And also for me too, I don't know, I just wasn't really at a place where I was like feeling fully prepared yet for that in those conversations. But that's what they say, most men usually aren't either. So
with all of my excitement, I knew that I needed to keep praying and to remain in a place of faith and trust, and just knowing that God was going to do it in his timing. But maybe some women can attest, when you have this desire and the thought comes in your mind, you do, I think, struggle pretty quickly with it. Okay, when is it gonna happen? Like, is it going to happen soon, or am I gonna be waiting for a really long time? Those thoughts definitely crossed my mind, and I think that I was just kind of pacing myself well in the beginning, because he said internally he wasn't fully ready. I could feel that, even though he may not have been fully expressing that to me. And so I just began to pray, and I still am praying, but I just, was like, Lord, I'm just gonna put this in your hands. And fun fact, maybe a few months earlier, before I even had this impression or like this desire to become a mom, this random person, we were at a church service, and this guy, I didn't know what this meant at the time, but he tapped me on the shoulder, and this rarely happens to me, but he said, God wanted me to tell you that he loves you and to trust him more. And I remember hearing that and being like, God, what do you mean? Like, I received that. I totally received that, because I think at the time I was going through some other things that we were just trying to figure out, being newly married, like what to do, where to live, all the questions. And so I remember receiving it, but not fully understanding like why God said that to me. Lo and behold, the year that was getting ready to transpire. So I'm praying, I'm trusting God, and I feel the Lord, like another impression. And I'm not just hearing audible voices from God all the time. Like, these are just like clear impressions on my heart that I feel at times. And I got another one after the, baby desire came, and it was, this year is going to uniquely slow down. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to slow down because I'm going to get pregnant. Like, that makes sense. Like, it's gonna slow down because I'm gonna get pregnant. And I was kind of like, okay, that makes sense. And I'm traveling, and that doesn't work. So yeah, it's gonna slow down. But I had these engagements lined up where I was supposed to be, working and traveling, and all of them unexpectedly fell through. They didn't happen. And so I only had really the 3 major traveling, working job opportunities that was for the rest of the year. And so you can imagine what that did for me and for Ransom, like going through this year, realizing that my workflow was a little bit slower than usual. And I don't know, like for me, it was like, okay, well, I can take this time to prepare my mind more, get ready more for a family or whatever that may be. And then also now, like, trying to navigate what that actually looks like, being at home with Ransom, who works remotely. And I don't know, it's definitely challenging. And so then I started to question God, now why am I here? Like what was happening? Because now month after month is going by and I am not pregnant. So I'm really starting to realize that, okay, Lord, that obviously wasn't, I'm misreading something, and trying to remain calm, still trying to have faith, still trying to pray and all those things, but starting to feel anxious and starting to wonder, like, what is happening in this year? What are you trying to show me? Because even though I felt that you said that the year was gonna slow down, I didn't, purposely try to slow it down. Like, things fell through, like I'm prepared and I'm like still working, I'm still doing these things, but I felt like God was like almost like having me in this place of stillness where I had to either strengthen my walk, strengthen my faith in God, or like just distract myself as much as possible so that I wouldn't get more and more anxious about becoming a mom. I say all this to say that I now understand a woman who desired to have children, and I just want to say, no matter how long you're waiting, whether that be a month, 2 months, 6 months, like, if you feel these feelings of, God, what is happening? Why is it taking so long? It's okay, it's normal. And I just want to encourage that, like, through it all, God is really faithful, and if you turn to him, he will speak to you and encourage you along the way. Well, a year goes by, September 2023 is here, and I got to do, a huge opportunity in my career. I got to go to the Netherlands, to Europe, and choreograph for the first time, which I have always dreamt of. But in this season, by the time I got there, I was kind of like a little bit perplexed, because I'm like, Lord, this is something that I really wanted a few years ago, and now it feels like I have it, and why can't I cherish it as much as I once did or thought I would have when I finally got here? But I put all of my effort into it, and I choreographed for NDT, Netherlands Dance Theater, and it was such a great learning experience. And this is very recent, but at the end of it, I didn't feel the way I thought I would feel. You know how sometimes you're like, okay, God, I realize that I'm not getting that promise, but you've given me this promise, so my career is something that I can latch onto, or my career is something that I can say, okay, well, at least I have this, like thing to satisfy me. And then when I realized that even choreographing for that, even though it was a great experience, it still didn't fulfill me, and I still felt like I'm not enough, that's what really turned my heart and my focus to, Lord, nothing is ever going to fulfill me the way you will, and I literally have to cling on to you every single day to give me the peace and the strength that I need to make it through. So, wow. I'm starting to get. So now, like, after a year and a couple of months, I just realized that it's not about, obviously, my timing, and it's not about my ability. It's not even about my understanding of what is happening in my life and during this season. It's all about literally trusting him, just like the guy told me at that church service, is literally trusting him. And I think it's something so beautiful of glorifying Jesus, not just with your testimony, but in the middle of your test. And I definitely feel like this past year has been a testing of my faith, and I'm sure it to some degree yours as well.
I have a lot of faith too for us and what lies ahead in our life and how our story will unfold. But what makes it so hard for me, or what has been kind of a thorn or pain in my heart, is seeing how much my Kayla desires it and feeling like I can't or I don't want to really be fully committed to pursuing that with her, or like there's part of me that's not all in it with her. I think that's where the struggle has come down to a lot. And probably every married couple, maybe when they start to think about kids, they go through some of those just relational strains, but we are finding more and more common ground.
I do think that God placed the desire in my heart, maybe before Ransom, to pray. Sometimes it may be that God reveals his plan to one spouse before the other, or he places the desire on one of the spouse's hearts stronger than the other. But it's not to force, or it's not to rush, it's not to manipulate the other person, but to pray and to trust God with the promise. There's so many conversations that we've had, there's so many moments that I've just broken down in front of Ransom, as much as I try to remain calm about it. So yeah, I just wanted to say that we know that God has the perfect plan for us and the perfect plan for our family one day, and I truly believe that God has given us the desire to be parents and the promise that we will be parents. But yes, I hope that if you know anyone who's going through this particular waiting season, or maybe you are, I just wanted to share to say that you're not alone, that there's obviously so many women who've experienced this, and I've only been waiting for a year and 2 months, but again, no matter how long you have been waiting, it's valid, it's okay to feel the emotions of, God, why? What's wrong with me? Like, did I do something wrong? Is there a reason why it isn't happening? Those questions are valid and it's okay, but through it all, I think that trusting God is everything. You can know that he is with you and he will fulfill whatever purpose and plan he has for your life. What's so beautiful about it is God's heart. When you're seeking him, he truly does give you his heart and his mind, not just towards your situation, but to other people. My mom, growing up, she would always tell me, if you are feeling down and you see someone else going in the direction you would like to go in, or you see someone else living out the dream that you would want to live, you celebrate them. That insecurity or that depression or whatever, it breaks, because the moment you love someone or you celebrate someone, that goes away. And so I've always been the type to put that into practice because it was instilled in me at a young age. But I would say that this year, more than any other year, and Ransom knows, has been probably the toughest year for me in that area in particular. But God, being in a relationship with Christ and seeking him, he gives you the tools and the ability to walk in that kind of love, to walk in that kind of heart towards humanity and people, to be able to celebrate in the midst of your own questions and doubts and pain. And so I just want to encourage you all to get connected with people in the middle of your storm. Community is so important, and even surround yourself with people that have what you desire, because it can be such an encouragement and really can strengthen your walk during this journey. This video in particular has really just been an encouragement to me, and I've watched it multiple times. All right, we love you so much. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.